All right, to do this problem, we're going to have to kind of break it up in a couple of different ways. So there are two parts to this function. There's the t, absolute value of t minus 2 part. And from our definition of absolute value, we know that we can write that as a piecewise function. There's the negative portion of it, and there's the positive portion of it. The negative portion of it happens when t definition said less than 0. That's not quite how this works. This is going to be less than 2. It's less than where it equals 0. And then the positive part happens where it's greater than or equal to 2. The same thing happens over here with the absolute value of t. This one's nice. It just follows the exact same thing we did with our definition. Less than 0, positive t, where it's greater than or equal to 0. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this whole function using this stuff. Except I've got all of these different numbers now. So I've got a place where it is just truly less than 0. So I'm going to have one area just less than 0. But then I've got this part where it's greater than 0 here, but it's less than 2 here. That's its own kind of area. So I'm going to have 0 is less than or equal to t is less than 2. That's another interval I'm going to work with. And then I've got the part here where it's greater than or equal to 2. So those are my three ranges of values I'm going to work with for t. When it's less than 0, what I do is I look at this, and this part here is the less than 0 part. I'm going to do this in a different color, actually. So I've got this part here less than 0, and this part here less than 0. I'm going to put those together. So I've got negative t plus 2. I went ahead and distributed. And my function says I subtract these. So I'm going to do minus, and then I'm going to subtract the part over there, negative t. That's for the less than 0 portion. For the bigger than 0 and smaller than 2, well, I'm using this part here for bigger than 0, and I'm using this part here for less than 2. I put these together. So I take, again, I have to do my first part first. So I take this negative t plus 2, and then I subtract the part that comes from over here, which is just t. And then for my third part, it's just a bigger than 2 part. So that's going to be here, that's bigger than 2, and it's going to be from this one, that's bigger than 2. And I do the first part here, t minus 2, and I subtract from the other part, t. And this is what my function is as a piecewise function. What I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this up a bit, make it look a bit nicer. So when I get g of t equals, this top one up here actually just simplifies down to 2. This middle one that I have in red simplifies down to 2 minus 2t. And the bottom one in green simplifies down to negative 2. And I clean it up, it looks a little bit nicer, and then once I've got that, I can go through and sketch a graph. Less than 0, it's 2. That's just a nice horizontal line right here at 2. From 0 to 2, it's this 2 minus 2t. So it has an intercept at 2, has a slope of negative 2 down 2 over 1. I'm going to go ahead and do both of those. So down 2 over 1, that gets me to 2, and it's this slanted line right here. And then at from 2 off to positive infinity, it's negative 2. So it's just another horizontal line that looks like that. And that's my graph. So it takes a little bit of work to get there. Make sure, be careful that when you make this piecewise function, you do it in the same order as the original function. I had to do the t minus 2 part first, and then minus the T part. That's what I did every time here with these different colors. And make sure you're grabbing them from the right spots. It can be a bit tricky, but if you watch it and take your time, you'll be okay.